All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. Today we're going to look at the crypto markets that have gone down, quite a bit over the past, month and a half, 2 months here, and take a look at some of the opportunities on the table that smart money are seeing and why a lot of them are actually jumping on the Ethereum train right now. We're talking about why that's the case. A lot of news that's happened in the crypto space since our last live stream on Friday, and a lot more. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step-by-step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so let's jump in the chat here. We got Cryptechnology. Awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We'll give it a second and wait for more people to join the stream here. We got Mark. All right, welcome. So let's just go ahead and jump into today's topic. We'll wait for more people to come into the live stream chat. Let me know in the comment section down below in the chat if you hear my microphone okay. I think we're all good. So let's take a look at a major opportunity on the table that smart money is seeing and why they're piling into ETH right now, okay? So like I was saying, basically, the entire crypto market has taken a pretty big correction over the past couple months here. The Bitcoin price peaked in April, and we saw the Ethereum price do kind of what it did in the last bull run, kind of operate on a delay and peak out later in May. So you can see that here on the screen here. We got our Ethereum peak around May 17th, May 18th, and then here we are after this correction, coming in down around $1,700, and today we're trading back over $2,000. So I want to look at an opportunity that smart money is seeing here on the table. As always, we don't know exactly what's going to happen next with the price of Ether in the short to midterm, but people who are in this in the long term, they're seeing something, which is, hey, we have all these crypto assets like Bitcoin, Ether, for example, that, now are about 50% down from their all-time highs. So we have a historic number for ETH being at, $4,500. We have a historic number for Bitcoin being, over $60,000. So what they're seeing here is if the past is any indication of the future and all the potential that we're seeing this technology, there's a pretty high likelihood that these assets will reclaim their all-time highs. Now, a lot of people who are in the crypto space think, of course they're going to reclaim their all-time highs. They're probably going to go a lot higher. But people who are, maybe outside this space looking in are seeing this and saying, maybe we can work with this. So whenever you come to that conclusion, you have a few different options. You can buy Bitcoin, you can buy ETH, you can buy, all these, thousands of altcoins that are listed on a website like CoinGecko.com, for example. So why would you choose one or the other, right? So we have Bitcoin. We see that the narrative for Bitcoin has changed quite a bit over the past year to be an institutional grade asset, a store of value. But we're seeing the perception of ETH change quite a bit over the past year as well. We've seen ETH sort of be elevated in status from this like penny stock type of investment to more of an institutional grade asset, a lot like Bitcoin. Okay. In fact, we saw this report come out in April. All right. So this was a couple months ago, right before the Bitcoin all-time high. But a Q1 trend was that institutional interest for Ethereum itself, Ether, actually ramps up. Okay. So this is huge. We're talking about smart money piling in the space and why they're looking at something like ETH over Bitcoin. Well, you have to ask yourself, why is that the case? Well, I actually saw a clip come up today, this morning from, Jim Cramer on why he's thinking this. Okay, I think this is actually resonating with other people in traditional finance. Now, it depends on what you think of Jim Cramer's actual analysis, but I think this is really important to understand because more people are going to be thinking like this. More people are going to be listening to him who are kind of observing the crypto space from the outside. A lot of these will be traditional finance people, all right? And these are part of the sort of smart money trifecta that are going to be going and actually buying. You're talking about institutions, traditional finance people, and also crypto natives who are already in this space and trying to figure out where they want to deploy their funds, all right? So let's actually look at this clip that we saw here with Jim Cramer on Squawk Box. He's talking about lots of different assets in the rotation that's going on, but let's hear what he has to say about what he's buying right now, because he kind of got some hot water recently. He's been talking about crypto because he got into Bitcoin, all this other stuff, and then he recently sold his Bitcoin. Okay, he says Cramer says he sold almost all of his Bitcoin, fearing China has had it with crypto. So he's asked about this on this interview, and let's just hear what he has to say. So I'm gonna actually pull this up and play it on my speaker. I gotta fix my live streaming software. We can actually play this natively on the sound system, but let's just do this for now.
Remember, you had said if it held 30,000, does that mean
I'm bullish? I mean, it's painful to be
in. Lots of people
hey, I'm bullish.
Where are you on any new views on Bitcoin? It's held. That remember you had said if it held 30,000, does that mean you go back in at 30?
I went into Ethereum this time. I went back into Ethereum because Bitcoin held 30. I like Ethereum because people actually use it much more to be able to buy things. And I'm going to continue to buy Ethereum. I just think it's just got a little more game because when you go buy an NFT, anything like that, everybody wants it in Ethereum. It's more of a currency.
Awesome. So I thought that was pretty. I thought that was pretty good. So basically, he's talking about Cramer sold his Bitcoin, saying, hey, if we go back in at around $30,000, that's when I would maybe enter again. Okay, after this correction. And he's saying, well, I changed my mind. I'm not going back into Bitcoin, going back into Ether because you can do more with it. Now he says you can buy things with it. People are using it to buy NFTs, but I think the spirit of what he's saying is that you can do more with Ether, and that's a lot about what we talked about in this channel. And I think that's what smart money's seeing. We have Bitcoin, like I said, elevated to this institutional grade asset over the past year. Ether's trending in that direction where more and more people are thinking about it as an institutional grade asset. But if you think about what you can actually do with Ether, rather than just hold it and use it as a store of value or a speculation vehicle, whatever, it has more utility. You can buy things with it like he's talking about. You can stake it on the network and earn passive income rewards. You can stake it in DeFi apps. You can, buy NFTs with it. You can do all kinds of stuff, okay? And that's what the smart money is seeing. The more utility you have for these actual cryptocurrencies, the more reasons that, people want to hold them. That's exactly what we've been saying on this channel. And as you provide more utility with those actual cryptocurrencies itself, that value can accumulate to the underlying assets themselves. And like I've said repeatedly on this channel, some of the price action that we've seen with cryptocurrencies over the past, 6 months or so, it's very possible that, the price of, ETH from, January all the way until May could be somewhat of a bubble. All right, that could be true, but there's also this big long moving averages, these exponential trends could still be continuing on despite the fact that we had some short-term bubbly behavior. And there's a lot of people who are sitting on the sidelines saying like, hey, we have a potential for a double bubble in 2021. Maybe this price action that we're seeing right now is just a consolidation. Maybe these cycles are lengthening. Maybe it's going to take us longer to reach these long-term price targets of, $100,000 Bitcoin, $10,000 ETH, all that type of stuff. But the potential still remains, and we're seeing smart money come into this space and pile into things like ETH. And I don't think Bitcoin's over or anything like that. But this is one of the, we're just seeing lots of people resonate with the ideas that I've been talking about for a long time on this channel. So let's see if we got some questions in the chat here, and we'll go ahead and look at the other prices for the crypto markets. Somebody says they can't listen to the video. Somebody says they can hear the video. So if you couldn't hear that video, just go check out the Squawk Box Twitter. So I'll pull it up here. I'll actually put a link in the chat if you want to go listen to it. I mean, I recapped what he was saying, but I'll put a link in the chat here, and you can just go check it out. Somebody says stake it. You mean earn interest, which is pretty standard stuff. Selling point of staking. Yeah, I have ETH. So what I mean by staking is you can actually stake it natively on the network itself. We're not talking about like opening an account on Coinbase or BlockFi and letting a centralized service pay you out interest and let other people take loans. We're talking about staking. So we're talking about native staking on the Ethereum network. That's the consensus mechanism for the actual blockchain itself. So there's no loans taken out on the other side for staking, okay? Staking actually has to do with putting your cryptocurrency in the network to help validate transactions. That's what actual staking is. Now, you can deposit into DeFi apps and earn yield. People call that staking, but there's usually lending happening on the other side, and that's not really what staking truly is. So is that how ETH Dapp works on Polygon in short? So basically, Ethereum and Polygon are both Ethereum virtual machine compatible. So any smart contracts that you write for Ethereum can just be deployed to Polygon. All right, so let's actually go ahead and check on the prices here. So a lot of, we kind of had a little bit of a bearish weekend. So I'll just pull this up on my screen here. Let's just get CoinGecko for now. But we do see quite a bit of, recovery, at least in the short term. So, things kind of dipped here. I guess it was on Saturday. It was kind of our low. But we are starting to see a little bit of green that's getting people excited. Some people are worried that this is, more of a fake out, more of a relief pump. People trying to get exit liquidity so they can, get out of the markets because they expect the prices to still fall by 40, 50% more. It's hard to say for sure. But, we can at least take this as some short-term encouragement. So let's actually take a look at what happened with Ether over the weekend. So like I was saying earlier, looks like we wicked down to, I believe it was like, let's just take a look. So here's the Coinbase chart. So this is actually the Coinbase feed. So we wicked down to 1712. All right. And now we're back up to 2082. So let's see if we can establish ourselves above $2,000. A lot of this is going to honestly have to do with what Bitcoin does. In my opinion, in the short term, I've seen some people talking about, ETH could decouple from Bitcoin and start to do, special stuff. I'm a little bit skeptical of that right now, to tell you the truth, because of the, just the kind of general fear in the marketplace. I think whenever we have this general fear like this, and we're not in these euphoric, mindset, that we're probably going to see Bitcoin lead the show. That's just my opinion. I would love to be proven wrong by that, of course, because I hold more ETH than I do Bitcoin. But yeah, so Bitcoin, same sort of story. We saw a pretty big green candle yesterday. Just like jump off here. So this is, like I said, it's encouraging in the short term, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see, because the general trend is just this sideways chop. If you go back to 30 days, I mean, we're basically just going between 30,000 and 40,000 with a slight downward trend. All right. We haven't really critically broken 30,000. I mean, it went down to 29, but it's almost like not enough variation to, it's still basically 30,000, I guess is what I'm saying. Right. And you can see this, we kind of entered it into here. We've been using that 40,000 level as resistance and then 30,000 as support. And it's just kind of just going back and forth between the two with a slight downward trend. We can also look at the crypto fear and greed index and see where we are on that. Let's take a look at what social sentiment's doing. So from social sentiment, we're back in extreme fear. So a few days ago, I believe we were in fear. I think it was maybe on Friday we were in fear. We were like at 26 or something. We just barely crossed the line into the fear category, not extreme fear. So like I said, we're in this like extreme fear territory. I think we're in a situation where Bitcoin's gonna lead the rally if we flip bullish. What do I use for front-end framework? React. Let's look at somebody's asking about the Ethereum fear and greed index. Let's take a look. I haven't seen the actual website for it, but there is a Twitter account, I believe. I follow it. Let's just see here. So the Ethereum fear and greed index is currently at neutral. So yeah, this is a relatively new tool here. So we'll see how this kind of plays out over time. I think if I had to guess, why we're back into the neutral territory and not fear, is because we're back above $2,000. I think that's a pretty strong psychological number for ETH, because I think people are wondering like, hey, is ETH going to go down and test its prior all-time high from 2017? I think that's part of what's going on here. Also, this long-term moving average, this 200-day moving average, I think is something that kind of freaks people out, because if we dip below that, that's kind of bearish as well. So those are two big factors I believe people are watching out for. I think some people are worried also too, like if we break our prior 2017 all-time high and go down, that it's just going to be, bad news for ETH. But I think it just depends on what happens with Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin keeps above its prior 2017 all-time high, I mean, I think Ethereum could still fall back below its prior all-time high, and it wouldn't be like, a massive psychological shock for the crypto space as long as Bitcoin is still above. Now, they both could break down below, you know what I mean? But I don't think either of the situations will be game over for crypto, but I think it would basically, it would be a very bearish psychological event for many, many, many people, but I don't think long term it would be a death knell or anything like that. I guess some people think there's a rule that it can't do that, but I don't think there's any like unwritten rule that it can't do that. They're looking at past history to determine what's going to happen in the future, but people were looking at, if let's just say that this current cycle that we were part of, let's just say that was the long-term top. If that's the case, then this past cycle didn't really look a lot like previous cycles. So if you take the logical conclusion that the past doesn't look like the future necessarily in this case, then the correction may not look like past corrections either. Someone says, I forget how, but there should be a tutorial on how to get the ABI data when you deploy with Remix. Yeah, so whenever you deploy with Remix, a modal will pop up on your screen that shows you the smart contract information, and you should be able to just copy the ABI from there. Yes, you do need that to interact with smart contracts. Somebody says ETH and Bitcoin are climbing. Yes, they are definitely climbing. I would love to see them climb higher, faster. That would be great. But we'll just wait and see. Like I said, we're still kind of in this range. I'd say until Bitcoin starts like getting back into the 40,000s. Yeah, I'm still kind of in the undecided camp until we firmly get up into that area. Oh, somebody says the ETH to Bitcoin chart is climbing. I see what you're saying. Let's actually look at it. So the ratio gang. They're talking about the ETH to Bitcoin ratio. Yeah, totally. So let's check this out. So this is the ratio of the Bitcoin or the ETH price to the Bitcoin price, ETH to BTC ratio. So people watch this because they think that Ethereum. Well, there's one reason people watch this. They think that ETH can flip Bitcoin at some point. Now, I do think it's possible. I think with some of the price action that we've seen lately, people's kind of general fear for the crypto space, I think the momentum that we had toward a flipping has probably slowed down. But that being said, I do think it's possible you can flip Bitcoin for lots of things. Reason I was talking about in this video, because of everything you can do with ETH, like the smart money that I'm talking about, what they're seeing, why they're buying into this space. Okay. And so you can keep track of that by looking at this ETH to BTC ratio. So as the ratio changes, you can see where the progress goes towards a flipping, where basically ETH would flip Bitcoin by market cap. And so by the logic of this, we should be here, so we're below that. And if we do get a flipping, then we would be here at 0.16. So the ratio is currently 0.06. All right, and it's been as low as 0.03 in the past year or so. I can't remember if you can actually watch this out on a graph, but TradingView has a ETH to BTC ratio. Let's just look it up. Yeah, so check this out here. So you can watch the ETH to BTC ratio over time. So we were as high as, 0.08. All right, and we are now down to 0.05, and we're up to 0.06 here. And here's where it was in, 2021, January, we were like 0.02. This is worth considering 30,000 Bitcoin and 1,800 to 2,000 ETH are new floors. Lots of opportunities to grab. when they happen for those ETH scaling solutions. It's very possible. Like I said, I'm kind of undecided while we're still ranging because I mean, like I said, I was here in 2017. I watched the markets, absolutely puke their guts whenever people thought, oh, we're consolidated, we're done going down. And then precisely when people thought that, it was just like, bleh, the market just absolutely, took a dive. So it was a massive capitulation. So I'm still holding out probability for that type of thing happening. I'll be very realistic about that on this channel. I never want to be, overly bullish when caution is appropriate. So what is about the progress of Uniswap on Arbitrum? So yeah, I don't have a recent update on that. Maybe we'll check on that and try to come back for the live stream in the next couple days and try to give an update on Uniswap on Arbitrum. Somebody says, I think crypto has enough mainstream support now versus back in 2017. Yeah, totally. With you 100%. We were talking about this the other day when actually it was on BitBoy Crypto. We were talking about like, hey, like, why is everybody bullish right now? And I was talking about technological innovation and how this space is night and day difference from what it was in 2017. I mean, back then we were still kind of scratching our heads, wondering like, what are we going to do with smart contracts? We had ICOs, we had tokens, all that type of stuff. But DeFi was still an idea in people's heads, and now we have pretty sophisticated DeFi applications that are getting even more advanced by the day. Okay, and we have people who are using these things. You can still participate in DeFi even in the middle of a bear market. You can get yields. You can find new projects that hit the scene, like using chain analysis, all this type of stuff. And that was not the case in 2017. Not even close. So that being said, we don't exactly know what that's going to mean for the overall cryptocurrency prices themselves. Like I was saying before, I do think that the more you can do with crypto, that value accrues to the cryptocurrencies itself, simply because they are supply and demand pricing. Okay, but it's very possible that a lot of the price action we saw over the past 6 months or so could be somewhat of a bubble, and that bubble could pop. And when that bubble pops, it could cause people fear, and because that fear permeates the entire space, it might cause the actual cryptocurrency prices to drop below their fair market value, whatever that is, simply because people are kind of too scared to touch it because the price just crashed. So that's a possibility. Just because we have adoption, we have users, doesn't mean the prices can't go down below what we think they should be at. So what is the website to check out the burned ETH about EIP 1559? So right now, this is just on a test network. So I'll see here. Let me see. I forgot what the actual website is. Let me see if I can pull it up on my screen here. Yeah, it's called Watch the Burn. So I'll put a link in the chat here. But you can actually watch this. This is just on a test network right now. So EIP 1559 is not live on the main Ethereum network yet. So anybody who's kind of new to this, trying to understand what I'm talking about. So EIP 1559 is an upgrade to Ethereum. It's not part of the Ethereum 2.0 roadmap. It's just been a proposal for Ethereum for a long time, and it's finally being implemented. It's basically a UX upgrade for Ethereum to help out with some of the mispricing of the gas costs on the top of Ethereum. But one big benefit of it, this is the thing that everybody's excited about. It does a lot of stuff, but here's the thing that people are excited about, is it burns ETH whenever new transactions are created, which basically, if there's enough network activity on top of Ethereum, that can cause ETH to become deflationary. All right, now it's not necessarily going to be, but if there's enough sustained activity and demand for the ETH network long term, then it definitely can be. So you can actually observe how much ETH is getting burned right now on the test network. So what does that mean? So basically, Ethereum has different environments. You have a test environment, or multiple test environments, and then you have the main Ethereum network. So like if you're using real money, you're on the main Ethereum network, but you can do stuff like write new smart contracts and put them off into a test environment. You can do network upgrades to Ethereum itself in a test environment where you're not risking real funds as like a sandbox. And that's what like the Ethereum developers use whenever they're making network upgrades. They go push it to a test network like this before it actually goes live. And you can watch the status of this on the test network and see how much ETH is actually being burned right now. So I think I talked about this on Friday, and I think I said the wrong thing about how much ETH was being burned because it was confusing. It was denominated in ETH and not US dollar, and I think I said it was like 80,000 US dollar, which is like not even close to right. It's 88,000 ETH, okay, which is way more. I don't even think I can see the number here. Let's see if I can pull it over on the screen. It's like an overflow problem. Yeah, $185 million. So when we talk about smart money buying ETH and why they're piling into this too, I think a lot of the crypto natives, talking about who are the people that make up the smart money. Basically, it's institutions, which some people argue like, hey, they're not as smart as you think they are. But institutions who are buying basically traditional finance people, and then also crypto natives. So people who have been in the crypto space for a long time, have held cryptocurrencies for, a year plus, have an understanding of how the technology works. A lot of them are going to be privy to the upgrades that are happening on Ethereum, what's coming down the pike, with this roadmap, with EIP 1559, with layer 2 scaling solutions that are launching in full force on top of the Ethereum network very soon, with ETH 2.0 just around the corner, the merge, all that type of stuff. People know that these are going to be big deals. See any questions here. Let's see here. How can we stake ETH on the network? So there's a couple different ways. So you can use a staking service like Coinbase or similar, where essentially you just click a button on your account and they stake your ETH. Now there are some drawbacks to this. Many staking services have a lockup period where you can't get it back until the merge happens. So let me explain what that means. So right now we are a part of this upgrade to Ethereum 2.0. You have ETH 1.0, that's the one that everybody uses today to send their Ether around, but ETH 2.0 is actually being developed in parallel, okay? We don't really have apps on top of it yet right now. People aren't making transactions really on the Ethereum 2.0 network. Basically, if you want to stake on ETH 2.0 for real, you have to move ETH from the current network over to this second environment that's getting set up for ETH 2.0. Now, eventually, those two things are going to get merged whenever the merge happens. That's what I was talking about a minute ago on the ETH 2.0 roadmap. And whenever that's the case, your staking principal for ETH will be liquid in the sense that you can withdraw it kind of whenever you want to. But right now, any ETH that you stake is locked up until that merge happens. So when is that going to be the case? The optimistic scenario is the end of this year, and the more conservative scenario is the beginning of 2022. So going back to answer your original question, how do you stake your ETH? Well, you can do it with a custodial service like Coinbase, or you can actually run a validator node yourself, which is pretty intense. If you're very technical, then by all means you can do that. But there are definitely some risks involved. You have to download a bunch of software on your computer, run your node. It needs to be on all the time, or you can face slashing penalties. You have to deposit your ETH into the 2.0 deposit contract, activate your validator, all that type of stuff. Definitely possible, but most people are probably just going to want to use custodial staking services. They do take a cut out of the performance. They have a performance fee basically, so you're going to get a little less percentage return, but you don't have to go through the hassle of running a node, and you don't have to worry about the security of your node either. What's the benefit of burning ETH? So there's benefits for EIP 1559, but one of the biggest benefits that people are excited about is basically if that reduces the supply of ETH, then it just makes ETH asset itself more valuable. It's like a network fee or a net. Yeah. Basically, everybody who holds ETH and doesn't want to sell it, your ETH is now worth more if less ETH is available. Now, also, in order for EIP 1559 to really have a significant impact on the price of Ether, two things have to happen. We have to have enough ETH transactions to really burn a significant amount of ETH. So the demand for transacting on the Ethereum network has to stay high or increase. And number two, people still have to want to hold the Ethereum asset itself and not just sell it. So there has to be two important demand pressures in this situation in order for it to have a positive impact on the price. All right, everybody, that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. If you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I should become a blockchain master step-by-step, start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. Like I said, you don't have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.